verse 40. Let all things be done decently and in order.
Lord said, let all things be done in decency and in order. The same way we can come in dialogue with a brother that may have a master's degree or a associate's degree, or someone that may not even have any degrees at all. The same way we can dialogue with children, with elderly, with senior citizens. The Lord said what? Let all things be done in decency and in order. So the Most High wants us to come out here and show our people, that at the end of the day, if you want order in your lives, if you want order in your homes, you have to come back to that source. And that source goes back to the scriptures, man. That's what we have to come back and wake up to. That order comes right back to scripture. But you got many of our people out here that's disobeying the orders of God. The natural order that Heavenly Father has established for humanity. You got women sleeping with women. You got men sleeping with men. You got whoremongering going on. You got women having children and they don't even know who the fathers is. Why? Because they lack knowledge, wisdom, understanding. They lack order in their lives. But yet, at the end of the day, they want to be treated with respect. Heavenly Father says that He does not respect of persons, man, when it comes to His law. That's why the Lord told us to come out here on the highways and byways to teach our people, to show them their transgressions. Give me Romans chapter 6 and 25th verse. Right? And Heavenly Father again, He gave us 613 commandments. 613 commandments. Many of our people believe that God only gave them 10 commandments. Alright? But the 10 commandments is the foundation of the 613. Read what you got in Romans 6 and 23.
The book of Romans chapter 6 and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
The Lord said, for the wages of sin is death. Don't you know that if you break the commandments of the Heavenly Father, you put yourself in a position to be judged? You put yourself in a position to catch all kinds of diseases? You put yourself in a position to be gunned down by the damn police if you ain't acting right? Don't think it can't happen. It's happening to our people on a daily basis all throughout the planet Earth. That's why it behooves you to wake back up to your nationality, to come back and put on your nationality. So the next speaker is going to come and further edify you in the truth. So he said, Shalom.
Train 2, Newlands Avenue, 1 minute away.
We get Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 46. So as the brother was bringing out, it's high time for you blacks and Latinos to wake up. Come out of the ways of America. Why? Because America will crumble. If you think America is a society and a system that's going to stand forever, and that's going to prosper forever, and you're only fooling yourself, and you're going to fall down and topple right along with this country. Think about it. What good thing has America done for you blacks and so-called Hispanics? You're still at the bottom of the totem pole. You're still at the bottom of the barrel. You're still getting gunned down day by day. You're still being looked at as lower class, treated like cockroaches in the society. What good thing has this country done for you blacks and Latinos? They give you a green card, right? For those of you that need a green card, you come over here and they look at you like you're a water bug, like you're a rubbish. Look at the jobs they offer you when you come to this country. They treat you and they say that you are the illegal immigrant. But yet, you were here before the Europeans came here. Mind if I ask you a question?
Right ahead.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, where are you from?
Long Island.
Long Island, okay, cool. You were born here?
Yeah, I was born here.
Okay, now what is your nationality?
Norwegian.
And your parents and grandparents were all the same thing as well?
My parents are both first generation. Both my parents are from Norway.
Okay, so now, let me ask you this. Wait for the speaker to stop.
No, I understand.
So now, how do you feel? First of all, did you vote?
Yeah.
Okay, who did you vote for?
Hillary Clinton.
Okay, and why is that?
Her viewpoints were way more in line with mine than Donald Trump's. Not that I necessarily agree with everything she had to say, but I had to agree with she had to say significantly more than what I had to say.
So you don't see them as two different sides of the same coin?
I do see them as two different sides of the same coin, but I figured we'd be better off with her side of the coin than his.
Okay, but no, here's the thing. When you're dealing with Trump, right? He's just blatantly racist and everybody that voted for him. Hillary is more covert because her and her husband, the Clintons, are responsible for thousands of black men still being in prison to this day. You understand? There's thousands of black men and Hispanic men that are in prison to this day from back in the 90s for selling a little bit of marijuana, right? You understand? Because the drug laws that were pushed. But now America is legalizing marijuana. But they won't let free the ones who sent to jail for selling marijuana. It's messed up, right?
Yeah.
But that's the system that we live in. That's the country that they've set up.
Yeah. No, the country is definitely not fair at all. In the treatment of its people and like the way it distributes the laws and I guess the all-around treatment of individuals, it's not fair. It's definitely skewed and it's visibly skewed.
Oh, what you got? Let me get Zechariah chapter 1, verse 5. Now, so would you think it's wrong if you see a group of black and Latino men that say, you know what? I'm tired of this American society. I want nothing to do with it. In fact, I don't want nothing to do with white people. They're not my friend. They're not my people. We need to be separated from them. Would you look at black and Latino men that are of that mindset as them being wrong for thinking like that? Is that progressive or regressive?
They fully have a right to think like that because it's really not fair. The system and the entire country is not fair towards Latinos and African Americans, and you can see that. Do I personally want to be alienated from those people? No, because I don't believe in the way that things are going is right. I believe that they have a right, and I believe that their right is right to stand up and say the things that they're saying. So that's why I stopped and started listening to you guys. I'm like,
so do you think that black and Latinos should continue to mingle and associate with so-called European people? Why is that? What good could come out of blacks and Latinos associated with Europeans?
As a European and someone
And I'm not speaking of
I know.
you as an individual,
Yeah.
because you don't represent the whole.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Personally, I feel like the only way for change to actually happen is when everyone comes together, which is a lot significantly harder said than done. And it's really unfair to have that rely on the African American or Latino community to make them be the ones to want to go out, go the extra mile and try to work on things. It should be a collaborative effort from everybody.
Do you think that's possible?
Right now, no, I don't think it's possible.
Do you think it'll ever be possible?
Hopefully. I genuinely, at the bottom of my heart, hope it is possible.
Here's the thing, it'll never be possible. That's someone who thinks like that is living in a fantasy world. It will never happen. And as you see things going now, it's only gotten worse. Worse and worse and worse. That will never happen because we have to look at history, right? Because history does tend to repeat itself, yes?
It does.
Now, when there was segregation, right? You had black communities who were flourishing, had their own banks, their own schools, own hospitals. They were flourishing. when they were separated, right?
Yeah.
Then when integration came along, what happened? Where are the black-owned businesses? Where are the black communities that were flourishing? All that went down the drain. We own nothing now. You go into black Latino communities, Arabs own the others. Asians own the nail salons and the 99-cent stores, the liquor stores. You understand? White people, white Jewish people, own the buildings that we all live in. You understand? We own nothing in the neighborhoods that we live in. And then they push gentrification, where they're pushing the people who've been living there, people who've been living there for generations and generations, they're being pushed out of those neighborhoods. So now white people are moving into those neighborhoods. They're building condos in our neighborhoods. You understand?
I understand.
So now, this system is designed for young people to succeed, right? And it's constructed for our people to fail. So there will never be any peace, any friendship between us and your people. Why? And your people were the ones who created that.
I understand.
You understand?
Entirely, yes.
And here's the thing. You know why it'll never happen also? Because the day that an equal playing field is created is the day that blacks Latino will rise above you so-called Caucasians. You understand? Because as a whole, you might not agree, or might sound racist, but we are a superior people. Just look at the things that we do, even in the local condition that we're in. When you think of sports, basketball, baseball, soccer, you understand? We are the greatest. Music, dance, our people.
With all this being said, do you believe that you and I couldn't be friends because of the differences in our race? Where we couldn't have a nice conversation like this? Or
No. There's nothing wrong with having a dialogue and conversation, as long as it's truthful. But as far as being friends, that could never happen. I only choose to align myself with my people. Proverbs 21:11. You understand?
I understand.
Because I'm for my people. That's all. I have no desire, we have no desire to align ourselves with the children of the people who have enslaved us, who have oppressed us. Because even if I'm your friend, you still have benefits that benefit you in the society. You understand?
No, you're right.
You being my friend will benefit me no way, shape, or form. That's just a fact. Even for white people as yourself, you can feel pity or feel sorry for what your forefathers have done, but yet it's still there's nothing you can do to change it, because at the end of the day you still benefit from what your forefathers have done.
Right.
You understand?
You're fully right.
So read what you got.
Proverbs chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in
So
hand,
if I was to join hand with you, be friends with you as a white man, come on.
the wicked shall not be unpunished.
I can't save you. It doesn't matter if I'm your friend. You still have a judgment that's coming towards you. And me aligning myself to you and betraying my people, I'll get the same judgment in return. So read that from the top.
Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
You ever heard of karma? What goes around comes around? That's found in the scriptures. You understand? So hold what you got. Let me get Isaiah 14:21 and also Revelation. Somebody get Revelations 13:9 and 10. Because I don't know if you believe in God or in the Bible. Maybe you don't.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children.
Prepare slaughter for who?
For his children. For the iniquity of their fathers.
So it says prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquities of their fathers. So your forefathers aren't here to bear the judgment that's due to them. But guess what? Their descendants are here.
Yeah.
So that's karma that's going to come back around. And you can see it happening. America is starting to divide itself, right?
It is.
There will be race riots here in America.
Yeah.
The KKK know this. The Aryan Nation know this. They've been preparing for years. And once everything hits the fan, it's going to be people siding with the wrong people. That's just what it is. Read what you got, King.
Book of Revelation, chapter 13, verses 9 and 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Come on.
He that leadeth into
So
captivity.
the same way your forefathers, your people have led countless amounts of blacks into captivity in every way, shape, or form. Come on.
Shall go into captivity.
It's going to come back around. They're going to go into captivity. Come on.
He that killeth with the
The
sword.
same way white people are gunning down people of color day in and day out, unjustly in cold blood. They're not being persecuted. Come on.
Must be killed with the sword.
They must be killed with the sword. You understand? It has to come back around. That's righteous judgment. It doesn't sound peaceful, but revolution comes with bloodshed. There's no peaceful revolution. It will never happen.
You're right.
You understand?
I totally understand.
Okay, so at the end of the day, man, that's just what it is. That's what we out here for. For blacks and Latinos, to let them know, man, they got to come together as a people. We have to separate ourselves. Even from those that seem to be pitiful, you know, and when they stand, I hope it ends.
I wouldn't describe what I am as pitiful. It's just, I wouldn't say I'm pitiful. I'm just more aware of the truths that are out there.
Gotcha. So I want to read the scripture now. What would you be willing to do to show as a sign that you feel sorry, that you feel bad for what your forefathers have committed?
I guess I'm marching hand in hand.
But, the scriptures, you say you don't believe in God in the scriptures, but we do.
Yeah.
Right? And the scriptures say, as a sign, something that someone should do. So read what you got, King.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 23.
Now we'll see if you are a man who does have a heart, if you're honest or not. Come on.
And kings shall be thy nursing
So
father.
at a certain point, the same way our ancestors, when they were kings, they were brought down and enslaved, and our men and our women became the nursing mothers and nursing fathers to the slave owners' children. Come on.
And their queens, thy nursing mothers.
Come on.
They shall bow down to thee
They shall bow down to us. Come on.
with their face toward the earth.
So as a sign of sorrow that you're sorry, you will bow down with your face towards the ground. Are you willing to do that?
Right now,
Yes.
it's pretty gross floor, but yeah, I guess.
Come on.
And lick up the dust of thy feet.
And you will kiss the feet of those who your forefathers have oppressed.
And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
So you bow down, and it says, after they bow down, what?
They shall lick up the dust of thy feet.
Are you willing to kiss the feet
are not running
of this
in
freedom
either
right here?
direction between chambers, straight world
Let's see
trade
if you are.
and Euclid Avenue because of an injured passenger at J Street.
Rockadaya,
Emergency
holla!
personnel are
So,
helping as an alternative transfer to the
That's also biblical prophecy, because there will be a reckoning, and there will be
Attention everyone.
a lot of your people
Are not running
that will come and say, you know what?
Flatbush Avenue because of
Our
construction.
people were wrong all these years. You guys are the children of God. You're sorry, and now it's still judgment and prophecy will still go forth. You understand? We will be the next ruling kingdom to come. Huh? Keep going.
I gotta catch my train.
Alright, man. So just keep this in mind. America's toppling. There will be race riots, and basically there's nothing you can do about it. The blacks and Latinos are the next nation to rule because we're God's chosen people. That's the promise He made unto us. You understand? We are the future kings and queens of this planet.
No, man, I like what you guys say.
We don't shake hands, man. You know. You wanna come up? So, alright, so read Revelation 13 out of 10.
Revelation 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Come on.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into
So
captivity.
that's biblical prophecy for your behalf. Every nation, the Arabs, Europeans, so-called East Indians, so-called Asians, that have a part and played a part in oppressing our people, will receive double for what they have done. Come on.
He that killeth with the sword,
Come on.
must be killed with the sword.
Now that's future judgment and prophecy. You will be killed with the sword as well. And you notice it says kill. It does not say murder. Why? Because when your day of judgment comes, it's going to be righteous. And it will not be considered murder. Now, you had something for me? Give me Isaiah 14:1.
I have Isaiah 16:14.
All right. Isaiah 16:14, Isaiah 14:1.
Isaiah chapter 16, verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee
The sons also, the descendants of those who afflicted our people, come on,
shall come bending unto thee.
shall come what?
Bending unto
Shall
thee.
come bending unto us, the same way that white boy fell, because he acknowledged what his forefathers are guilty of. Come on.
All they that despised thee shall bow themselves down.
Now all those that despised us and enslaved us will come bow down to us like that white boy just did earlier. You understand? And that's just a sign of what's to come in the future. All of those that oppressed us will come bowing down to us, God's chosen. And those of you who don't want that, if something's wrong with you, because you blessed Latinos, you don't even like to hear that you're the kings and queens of this planet Earth. You don't like to hear that you're the greatest people on the planet.
Right.
You're so busy worrying about your oppressor and being on his level and saving him, bringing him along with you, that you choose to ignore and throw away your greatness. That's an issue. It's a problem. That's still a slave mentality. So you black Latinos gotta wake up, man. You gotta wake up and come together. How y'all sisters doing? Y'all good? Can I ask you something? Y'all believe in God? Yeah? All right. So, y'all believe in Jesus? Okay. What does Jesus look like? Huh? He took the mother? Okay. So, God take any death? You know, that's all the Most High's do. You understand? Let me ask you this though. What does Jesus look like? You know what Jesus looks like? No? What picture do you always see in the church? What picture do you see that your grandma has in the kitchen? White, right? So do you believe that's what he looked like? No? What do you think he looked like? Okay, cool. Okay, so you believe that there's a creator out there. Got you. All right, good. So now, yet still, you see that image of a Jesus, right? Now, you don't believe that's what he looks like, right? So now, what do you think he might have looked like? You have no idea? Okay, what if I told you he was a very dark-skinned man with woolly hair and an afro? Why wouldn't you believe it? Do you know that the Bible tells you what he looks like?
Wait a second. It's right here.
Get it from the King Revelation. Beautiful. Read verse 1. You're going to show you. The Bible tells you.
Ain't that true? Amen. That's right.
You got to keep this in mind, right? You Puerto Rican? Where you from? Puerto Rican? Oh, huh? Okay. And y'all twins? Okay. Y'all Puerto Rican, right? Okay, now as Puerto Ricans, let me ask you this. Because I know a lot of y'all Catholic. You Catholic? Right. So now in the Catholic Church especially, they teach you that Jesus is white. Right? So now I want you to listen to this. Not in the Catholic Church. Read what you got, kid.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So it says the revelation of Jesus Christ. So we're going to reveal what he looked like according to the scripture. So go to 13, kid.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
In the Bible, who's called the Son of Man? Jesus, right? Go ahead.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
He had a garment down to his feet, similar to what he has on. Right? A garment down to his feet. Come on.
And girt about the paps with the golden girdle.
He had on a golden girdle right here. Come on.
His head and his hairs.
His head and his hairs, eyebrows, beard, mustache. Come on.
Were white.
Were what
like
color?
wool. White.
White. So the image that you see in the church with blonde hair, brown hair, is wrong. The Bible says he had white hair. Like what?
Like wool.
So it was white and woolly. Who has woolly textured hair? It says he has white and woolly hair. What people have woolly textured hair? Who? What's woolly? Look at a sheep. What kind of hair does the sheep have? Wool, right? Like an afro. Come on.
As white as snow.
Come on.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Meaning the whites of his eyes were reddish. Come on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
It says his feet were like fine brass. What color is brass? Brass. Not grass, with a beat, brass. It's what? Brown, like a penny. Come on.
As if they burned in the furnace.
As if it burned in a furnace. So if it's brown and you burn it, it's gonna get darker, right? So Christ was a very dark-skinned man with woolly hair. Now Christ was a Jew, but he was black. What does that mean? The real Jews, God's chosen people, are black people. You understand? That's why nobody can do the things that our people do. I brought out earlier to some white man that was standing here, when it comes to baseball, basketball, singing, rapping, dancing, cooking, who's better than blacks and Latinos? Nobody. Who has the most strong and handsome men? Our people. Who has the best looking woman? Our people. You understand? We are the greatest people on this planet. We gotta keep that in mind. You understand that? Because this country will treat blacks and Latinos like we're at the bottom. You understand that? So you better recognize and wake up. You're God's chosen people. You're an Israelite. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. And sisters, have a blessed day. Something you was going to read in Isaiah?
Isaiah 14 and 1. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Come on.
And will yet choose Israel.
He's going to choose Israel. Yes, God does have choices. God don't love everybody. Come on.
And set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them.
The strangers shall be joined with us. Come on.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Come on.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
And we're going to take them and bring them to their place. Now we're going to see what the place is. Come on.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
We're going to possess them in our land as servants and handmaids. The same way they possessed us and made us their servants and handmaids. You understand? Come on.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Come on.
And they shall rule over them and
And
oppress.
we're going to rule over our oppressors. You understand? Now that's something that's going to take place in the future to come. But a lot of people don't want to believe that or take heed to that because you're so fearful of a revolution. You don't think that this white man can be taken down. You don't think that this white man can be defeated. You blacks and Latinos can't even imagine yourself ruling over the European man. Because you're so afraid of him. You think that he's so powerful that he can't be taken down. But once you blacks and Latinos realize that the European man couldn't be taken down from his seat of power, then you recognize that you are the next rulers to come. Come on, what you have for me? Yeah, no? Alright, so you coming up? Come on.
So the brother spoke well in the spirit. As we, once again, we are the Israelites, the true Jews that the Bible speaks of. That all the books, all the history books talk about. The real Jews, God's chosen people. Stemming from the tribes, the nation of Israel, from Judah, all the way down to Issachar. 12 tribes, 18 nations that are on the planet Earth. And we come out of one of the nations that the Lord thought of special above all people. In Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Because the Lord, we are made in the image of the Lord. And just like men, we got our likenesses, we got our dislikes, we hate things. The Lord does too. The Lord has all these emotions. So you think that just like we have a favorite and we dislike things, the Lord doesn't have us feel the same way? The Lord chose you blacks and Hispanics over all people. That's why he wants you to deal with only your people and stop this race mixing. A movie came out last year called Get Out. It's time to get out. It's time to start dealing with your people and stop dealing with other people. It's for everybody. It's no race mixing, because that's against God. That's why. Yeah, it's against God. Because these people, when you race mixing, take you off from the true matter at hand, which is worshiping your true God and following the commandments of the Lord. So-called blacks, okay.
I'm curious as to how the ethnicity between black people and Hispanic people is the same.
It's not different. Because Hispanic people, Hispanic is a name coming from Spaniards. I said so-called. These people identify so-called blacks and Hispanics because those are not true nationalities. Okay, so the black is a color. The ethnicities is Israel. That's the ethnicity.
Israel is an ethnicity?
Yes.
Israel
is a nation. It's a nation of people.
Israel is an ethnicity?
Yes.
So when someone says they are from Israel, that means that's their ethnicity?
Yes. When I say I'm from the tribe of Zebulon out of the nation of Israel.
So if a white person is from Israel, if a white person was born in Israel, that means they're not.
What they're going to say? They're going to say that they're what? Israeli, right? Correct?
They were born in Israel.
They're going to say they're Israeli. Right. But we know that nowadays they're so-called white people, right?
So that's the only race that you're saying.
I'm not saying. I'm saying there's all other races, Chinese, everybody. I'm saying the matter at hand is that black people, so-called black people, so-called Spanish people, black people, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, people in Southern America, Central America have to come together. They have to come together and they have to unite and stop worrying about everybody else.
So I just want to be clear. So you're saying that she and I being together.
What is her nationality? What is her nationality?
She's Pakistani.
She's Pakistani. Okay.
You know where that is?
Yeah, I know where that is.
You should point that camera away.
So that's not your people. That's what I'm
That's
trying.
not what I asked you. I said, what I asked you was, she and I being together, does that mean in the eyes of God that that's wrong?
Yes.
How?
In Deuteronomy 73. No. I'm going to answer you from the scriptures. No, you asked me a question, right? So I'm going to answer you. I'm going to give you your answer. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
So, us as a people, we're not supposed to be blacks and Hispanics.
Wait,
and Native Indians.
Okay, so this is a Bible?
Yes, it's a Bible.
Okay, this Bible was only created for blacks and Hispanics.
Yes.
Alright, on that note, I got to
You staying on that? No. Get Deuteronomy 28:68. You know about the transatlantic slave trade, correct?
Wait, so Hispanics.
I'm asking you a question.
But you said blacks and Hispanics,
yes.
Right? So Hispanics are blacks and Hispanics are the only ethnicity that the Bible caters to.
Yes.
Where are Hispanics from?
Hispanics, I'm not talking about Spaniards. I'm talking about people who are conquered.
I'm using your words.
Okay.
This is what you said. When we walk by,
I said so-called Hispanics.
Okay.
Because
where
I'm
does
being
the so-called Hispanics come from?
So-called Hispanics, they come from the continent of Africa.
No. Yes and no. He was right.
So-called Hispanics of Puerto Rican, of Indian descent, Taino descent, Negroid descent, come from the continent of Africa.
Okay. How does the term Hispanic come to play?
The term Hispanic. Okay. The term Hispanic, when you find out, it's talking about Spaniards, correct?
No. Now, as y'all doing this, and it's not my place to come and relay my own. Let me first say that, so that you understand that.
Hold on for a second. I just want to ask you a question if you don't mind. Okay, cool. Now, from LA?
No.
All right. Now, do you love your people?
Yeah. But you don't know my ethnicity.
What is your? That should have been the first thing I asked. All right. So now, what is it?
My ethnicity is Caucasian, African American, and American.
Okay.
So my father is Caucasian and African American.
Okay. Now, your father's father's what?
My grandfather.
Your father is father. Which is your grandfather.
My grandfather is white.
He's white?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my grandmother's black.
Okay, your grandmother's black. Okay. No wonder. Well, you go ahead and date all the white women in Pakistani and stay away from black and Latino women because you are the seed of your father. So you have the spirit of a white man in you. So
can't do that. That's not fair.
Go freely.
No, it's okay.
Not fair.
You can go ahead. Well, now, but he was going to say this.
Why are you
not
yelling?
fair.
No,
I'm calm.
Don't do
No,
that.
no. No, listen. Okay, so let's
Why are you yelling?
no.
I'm calm.
Let me. No.
Wait, stop.
What's your
No, keep.
ethnicity?
I'll answer that. Let me just say this.
No, what's
And
your
then
ethnicity?
I'll gladly answer.
Even better.
I won't listen. I will nothing. I promise you. I will not deny you your answer. Okay.
I don't feel
No,
you denying
here's
me.
the
I'm
thing.
just curious as to what your ethnicity is.
No, here's the thing. No, here's the issue, right? When people speak in a certain tone, people take it as an argument or yelling. No, don't take it as that.
But I asked
You
you a
understand?
question and you
When you see a man speaking with authority, don't take it as a man being too aggressive or confrontational. We're men here, okay?
I don't feel
Okay.
right at all. What I'm saying
I'm not
is
speaking
that
about
he and I were having a conversation.
So now,
you imposed. So does
I
that
need you
mean
to understand this. I just want to make one point clear, okay? As to what the brother was explaining to me.
Whose brother? Yours?
Yes, my brother right here.
What's your ethnicity?
So now, let me say this and I'll answer. I'm an Israelite. There you go.
can't be.
So
You're
now,
from Israel.
You can't be.
listen, let me
You
answer.
can't be.
You're from Israel.
I was waiting for
Are
that.
we gonna have a respectful dialogue? Yes or no?
You
I'm
can't.
not disrespectful.
All right.
No.
First of all,
Here's the thing. Here's how a dialogue
and
happens.
continue to do so.
You ask me a question, I answer.
Dialogue.
I make a statement, you listen. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Now, and I'll show you the same respect as well. So now, when you do the history, right? Biblical archaeology, when you compare it to biblical prophecy, you find out who the true Israelites, aka Jews, are, right?
So you're Jewish.
Listen. So now what we're out here doing is showing the people who the real Israelites are. That the white man calling himself a Jew today, according to the Bible and according to history, is not the real Jew or Israelite.
At all.
When you do the history, you find out that the real Jews were people of color. You understand that?
Okay.
That's what we're out here for. And so now, when he was telling you about the race mixing, right?
Right.
When he said blacks and Latinos, he said so-called blacks and Latinos. The reason we say so-called because these are titles and names and bywords put on us by those who oppressed us hundreds of years ago.
Correct.
Okay? That's why he was saying so-called.
Correct.
Man.
Get that. Respect that.
Cool.
Correct.
Now, wait.
What is your ethnicity?
I get you. I got you.
What is the
I got
ethnicity?
you.
I just-
So now,
Doing too much
and
looking
now,
around off the
being
rhetoric.
that we
Get it
are
in.
descendants
What
of
is
those
the
real Israelites, there's laws. Let me get there. There's laws that we have to keep, and one of those laws is we are not to intermingle with other races that is not our race.
But you can't say that
You
because the
understand?
intermingling is already inside of you.
So now,
before
that's
you join
the
this
laws.
cause,
You understand? So now, what is your question?
Hence his color.
Wait, first of all, did you get
Color
what I said?
Yeah, I heard.
Got you. I'm an Israelite.
Impossible. That's not.
I'm an Israelite.
Is not a
That's
title of
an
ethnicity. It is a title of culture. It is not
Yes.
a title of ethnicity.
They're
Israelite is a title of
Israelites,
culture,
descendants
not
of
ethnicity.
Israelites.
That's incorrect.
So your parents are Israelites.
Yes.
Ethnically.
Yes.
The blood in
That is their
the blood
lineage.
runs through your
Impossible.
That is their
veins
lineage.
Israeli.
Impossible. You already
Israeli.
said to yourself that you were.
I said Israelite. There's a difference between Israeli and Israelite.
Okay,
Did
but-
you know that?
Okay, but
Go to a dictionary.
From a pronunciation standpoint, that doesn't make sense. So the
No,
blood
oh,
that
no,
runs-
no, no,
the blood
you're
that
wrong.
runs through your vein is what?
Israelite
It's
blood,
red.
descendants of Jacob.
It's
You're
red.
talking about from a pronunciation? How old is the term Israeli?
Why are you yelling?
No,
No,
how old is the term Israeli?
The term Israeli is not even 100 years old because
Exactly.
prior to that it was
Exactly.
all Palestine.
How old
It
is the
never
term
existed.
Israelite?
The term Israelite the term Israelite comes from earlier terms representing Yahu and
So there's a difference, right?
What's homeboy's
Okay,
name?
no,
Goddamn, it's more than
Israel.
4,000 years
I'm the
old.
one
The
that-
term
See that?
Israelite
So now
is
this
stolen.
brother here knows the difference between Israeli and Israelite. You didn't know that.
You're right. So I'm the one
Okay
that-
then.
I'm the one that threw the word ethnicity into the conversation, right?
You were supposed to answer what is a
nationality
Hispanic?
originally.
What's
so what's your
Hispanic?
nationality?
But here's the thing. Nationality,
What's your nationality?
nationality, according to the scriptures,
What
is
nation are you
dealing
from?
with
No,
ethnicity.
no,
What nation are you
We
from?
are of the
According to the
nation
scriptures.
Now,
of
According
the
to you,
Israelites.
what is you if you did not have that?
I
What
said
would
we
you
because
consider
we're all the
yourself to
same
be?
nation, different
I'm
tribes.
asking you, where were you
We
born?
are all descendants of the original Israelites.
No.
Okay?
Impossible. You can't be. There's too
You ask-
much
oh,
shit.
so you're asking
There's
me
too much
where I was
raping
born.
in your
That's basically what you're
bloodline.
asking.
Mine too. None of us are all pure. That's the
Everybody.
That's the concept.
Am I the only one that's hearing his question? Am I hearing it wrong? He's asking me, what is my nationality? I'm telling him that my nationality is of the nation of Israel. The
So you were
descendants
born- you were
of the
born in
real
Israel.
Israelites.
You were born in Israel.
It doesn't matter where you're born,
I
brother.
didn't say you had to be. Relax, dude. It's not that serious.
But by you, no. By your question, by you asking that, that's what you're
It does
denoting.
matter where you're born. That's why you gave the name.
If I was on a jet
You guys
flying
were
over the
initially
Atlantic
talking
Ocean,
about Hispanic.
What is my
before you went
nationality?
into all of this. I was asking where did Hispanic
if I was on a
come
plane
from?
No, listen. All jokes
flying
aside.
over
matters.
the Atlantic Ocean,
Okay, I hear you, but listen for 1 second.
and my baby's being born on a plane,
Okay,
what is my
for
baby's
1 second.
nationality?
For 1 second. We gotta go somewhere, so tell me what
What is your
information
baby's
that I need to
nationality?
be researching to gain the knowledge that you're telling me right now. Because you're,
Well,
telling me
you're
that
not
I'm
an
not.
Israelite, so this ain't for you.
Oh, it's not.
Nah, it's not.
So there's
So
only
are
people
you
that
saying you
Israelites.
want to gain knowledge to find out who
But you know what you can do?
Or are you
Go
saying you
home
wanna
and Google
find out-
Hebrew Israelites.
are
That's what you
saying
can
you
do.
want to find out knowledge to know who you are? Or you saying you want to find
That's
out
all he
knowledge
can do.
just to find?
Because
You
he's
are
not
trying
a
to find
descendant.
out just
And
to find.
I need my people to know this too.
Then you need to
Because
look
this,
for the
let's go
scrolls
back
of
to Haiti
Eve,
real quick.
and you can work
Right?
from the book of the dead.
Because
and
when
run
you deal with the
everything
history of
under
Haiti,
it from that.
you had a lot of mulattoes, so-called mulattoes,
All
right?
relevant.
Who had white fathers who were used as agents to those who was having a revolution against the oppressor on the island of Haiti. But then you had mulattoes who had fathers who were black, but white mothers who were fighting alongside those who was having a revolution on the island. You understand? So not everybody that looks like you is your people.
Yeah.
You understand? Some people are just chocolate-covered crackers. You need to understand that.
Yeah.
Chocolate-covered crackers.
As I asked
You understand
it on
that?
Sunday night,
And that's what you always have to
and I'll do
ask.
it for you.
Where do you descend from? What is your father? What is your father's father? Just because a person has brown skin does not make them your people. You understand? If he has a white father, he has that white man spirit on him. He's a product of that white man's seed, of that white man's sperm. He's going to be for his father's agenda.
Now,
That's what you blacks and Latinos got to understand.
the term Hispanic comes from the term Hispaniola. The term Hispaniola is what Haiti and Dominican Republic was before the white people came and conquered it. Know the truth. As he is saying, he is from Puerto Rico. And to be a Puerto Rican.
You ain't correct. As far as Hispaniola.
The Hispaniolas, okay?
You ain't correct.
Hispaniolas, and technically Caribs, as in Caribbean Ocean, Carib.
We know that term, brother.
Arawaks,
But as far as Hispaniola,
Maroons,
you're incorrect
as in
about its
many of the
origin,
Maroons
brother.
from Jamaica and so forth.
Hispaniola is a Spaniard term, brother. It's not a
Hispaniola was
Taino.
the name of the original land.
Because,
before they put it.
no, you ain't correct. And I'm going to tell you why. The whole island was called Haiti.
The whole
Haiti.
island could not be called
It was called Haiti.
What does Haiti mean?
It was called Haiti, brother.
What does Haiti mean?
You tell me. What does Hispaniola mean?
What does Haiti mean?
I
Now the difference
tell
to
you.
what we're getting ready to do
You
is
understand?
I done answered
Hispaniola
your question.
was given to it. Hispaniola was given
Because what
that
he's
name
doing, and y'all-
by the colonizers, the Spaniards. That was not a native
Born
word.
in me. I'm about to be old as
Let
you
me ask
are.
you something,
I'm
okay?
old. So what I'm
Let
learning,
me ask you this.
he's just starting to learn and I done forgot.
What
I
are
still
the-
rock my
what are the
life.
Akani?
What I'm telling you is what it is.
What a dark honesty, what do you eat on?
What? Okay, because you learned some Arabic has nothing to do with
Arabic.
Hispaniola.
No,
because you
I'm
learned a
speaking
different-
Taino language, brother.
You couldn't be.
You understand?
What is Hispaniola?
I'm speaking
And
the
why you
Taino
answer-
language.
And why you
See,
answer
what
different
you
questions?
eat up? What are the
Why you answering
Hakani?
different questions? You said report.
You don't speak the native language.
You don't speak the
You
native
understand?
language.
And you're over here trying to say
None of us speak the
Hispaniola
native
is a
language.
native name of
The
the
term
island.
Hispaniola
Brother,
was the original
you're
term.
incorrect.
When your boy
That
came
was not
over,
the name, brother.
The man that fucked us all up,
Hispaniola
his name Willie
was
Lynch.
given by the
He came
Spaniards.
over and they sent
Okay?
him from Europe to
And
where?
then,
To
when they
that
split the
land.
island,
To lobotomize that
they
land.
changed it to
Turned the colonies
Dominican
against each other.
Republic.
He said, if you
From
do
the
this,
Dominican
these same
friars,
people
okay?
will be fighting
They
each
were
other
all
for the
Spaniards.
next 300 years. You are still in the fight.
No, we
The only way
are
to beat
supposed
the
to come
language is
together.
to understand all the
We will come
languages.
together.
You cannot take just one and
No, we will come together. We will come together. No, you're right about that. We gotta come together.
Your homework should be to really find out what that is on your head, to really
What is it?
know
What is
what
it?
they're
Hold on.
doing with
Hold
it.
on. What is it? 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 What is it?
On the low,
So,
came back and they said the beginning of AD.
300 AD?
Why they were killing all the
Why?
because you changed the actions of the white people. The actions of the elders. The actions take themselves. First of all, to be children and smaller. They continue that practice.
What you said this? What is this?
That was the same symbol as the capital of the now. Is actually a state divided by the same sect.
What is the origin of this? I'm asking. What is the origin? You can't tell me the origin. See that? He can't tell me the origin. He wants to point at this symbol. Here's the problem with our people, man. Our people are a bunch of smart dummies. You do a couple Google searches, you watch a couple YouTube videos, and all of a sudden you become a scholar. You ain't nothing but a smart dummy. You have to do in-depth research. Get you some primary sources. You understand? Our people read a little article or two and now all of a sudden they become scholars, but can't answer a basic question. Hispaniola was not the original name of that island. That is not an indigenous word. That is a Spanish word put on the island by Spaniards who conquered the island. So you black Latinos gotta wake up, man. Wake up to who you are. Go back in, King.
So like you were saying, the Most High don't want you race mixing. And the Most High doesn't want you leaning on to your own understanding and vain deceits like that. Because, like brother said, people watch a few YouTube videos, they read a couple books, and then they think that they're a college professor. And they think that they have the intel, that they know it all. Because when you really look up, you find out the word Hispanic, Latino coming from Latin, and Hispanic coming from Spanish, Spaniards. These are the languages and the terms that these conquistadors, these conquistadors, like Hernando Cortez, and all these people came and gave them to the people of South America, Central America. And when you're dealing with the island of Hispaniola, you find out it was conquistadors and Frenchmen that came and conquered that island. And the reason because of the split was because they couldn't be coming into agreement on that land. That's why that land split up. That's why they're still dealing with the French people to this day in Haiti, even though they got their independence. They're still messed up because of that today. Our land of Dominican Republic is still messed up to this day. Because you did not talking unto the words of the Lord. You went astray. Give me Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Because we're going to see what the Lord says about why you are in your conditions right now. Because you adhere to everything that this scripture that's about to be brought out is pertaining to. Colossians chapter 2. At the Philippians. So we out here, the message still is at hand. We out here to wake up our people. Because just like in this land, America is not for our people. They hate to see so-called black and Hispanic nationalists coming together. But when you vote and when you go into the U.S. Army, what do they call that? Patriotism. You being a patriot, which is a nationalist. So you fighting for your country. You fighting for a race of people that have nothing to do with you, that you don't even come out of. But the Lord says in the book of Psalms, chapter 94, who's going to rise up for him? That's the real patriotism. That's the real nationalism that the Lord is looking at. Who's going to rise up for him? Against all the workers of iniquity in this land. All the people who promote homosexuality. All the people that promote lesbianism and transsexuality. And even now, they promote bestiality and pedophilia. They're trying to explain and break down pedophilia like it's all right. All these things are inhumane. And when you read in the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, all these things is worthy of death. All these things is worthy of death. Because this is a heresy. It's an abomination unto the Lord. And the Lord doesn't deal immorally. These are all things of worldly lust that the Lord does not deal with. Colossians 2 and 8.
Book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Don't let any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. Our people have grown up for Catholics for over 400 years, dating back to England. They had Catholicism in there, and Martin Luther introduced the 95 Theses, and that's where you get Lutheran from, named after him. And he was the progenitor of the Protestant church. And that's why you got all these other denominations of Christianity. Went from Catholicism to Lutheran, to Pentecostal, Baptist. John the Baptist in Matthew chapter 4 and 2 don't tell you to be a Baptist. They don't tell you to be a Pentecostal, but you got to celebrate the real Pentecost when you find out that's the Feast of First Fruits, that you find that out in the book of Leviticus chapter 23. You got to celebrate these real holy days and stop celebrating Christmas and stop celebrating Thanksgiving. The slaughter of over 100 million native Indians who are indigenous to this land, who are the real people that this land belongs to. But the European man came from Plymouth Rock. Pilgrims came over and slaughtered them and took over, because that's how the so-called European man deals. He deals with nothing but rage. And he can't find it. It's his DNA not to think correctly or think like how we have a bunch of love for our people. They don't think that. They think inhumanely. Get Proverbs chapter 6 verse 17. Because in the book of Proverbs, it has all these explanations for how we live our life and what not to be. It talks about not to be an adulterer and how not to be a talebearer and all these things. But it also tells you, gives you descriptions of people that we can find modern day, even within our people. Even within our people. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 17.
The book of Proverbs chapter 6 verse 17. A proud look, a lying tongue.
A proud look, the so-called white man that comes into your neighborhood with a proud look, walking like you ain't gonna do nothing to him. Because you'd rather bang on your brother, for him wearing a different color than you, and for looking at your girl wrong, which is wrong. But y'all don't keep no laws of God. So that's why he's doing that. Y'all ain't keeping no laws of God. So that's gonna happen. So it says a proud look, what else?
A lying tongue.
A lying tongue. All these so-called presidents, these presidents who are bloodline elected and bloodline related, they come and they promise you all these things. But when the election comes into play, they don't do nothing that they promised you when they was running, when they was campaigning. You gotta know what these terms mean about campaigning and poll. When you go to the polls, poll ain't nothing but a tally. That's all it is, it's a tally. Your vote don't count. How many times have people won their electoral college vote? and the popular vote and still lost the election. Your vote does not count. It don't count. It will never count. Because in your constitution, black people are still considered 3/5 of a human being. So 3/5 of your vote counts. And they go around taking their censuses, however, every 4 or 6 years. And then right after a census, you got a new airborne disease. You got something else that they're using to try to take out our people. All these things are the warfare tactics of the so-called white man and all the nations that are trying to exterminate God's chosen people. Because they know who you are. That's why they don't want us out here teaching. That's why they flag Israelite videos on the internet. That's why the books that show you the true colors of the prophets of the Bible, you gotta spend $200 or up to $2,000. When you find out Russian icons, that book is about $22,000. And when you find out those people over there in Europe, and Europe is nothing but named after a princess named Europa, you find out that all those people during the Dark Ages were black people. But when they had the Renaissance period, Renaissance, French for rebirth, that rebirth period, that's when all the things started. They started whitewashing these images. And then that's where you've got your so-called white Jesus Christ, who is nothing but Cesare Borgia. If you know your history, the son of Pope Alexander VI of Rome, who was a pedophile and he dealt with his sister. A sodomite. Okay. Let me ask you a question. You've been watching for a little bit. Let's dialogue. How do you feel about everything that's been brought out so far? You just listen. Okay, what's your nationality?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. Are you willing to answer?
I'm not so sure.
You're not so sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Guessing. Okay, so give me an intelligent guess.
Let's say Irish American.
Irish American. Yeah. Those are 2 different countries.
Those are 2 different nationalities,
yeah.
Not countries.
Yeah, 2 different nations.
Right.
Ireland.
Right.
Country.
Yeah.
So it's 2 different countries, America and Ireland.
Yeah.
So you come out of that line, Ireland. So you are a so-called white man.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe in God?
No.
You don't believe in God. You're an atheist?
No.
So do you believe in a higher power?
Yes.
You believe in a higher power. Okay. So how do you feel about the conditions that the so-called black people and Hispanics are going through right now in this world?
How do I feel about it?
How do you feel about it?
So, well, systematic oppression and racial oppression is one of the biggest issues that is dealt with today, right?
Right.
So, something that can't even be seen or talked about. It's so installed and subscribed to that it's almost impossible to deal with,
right,
unless it's dealt with by all.
By all, okay.
Right, but that means instilling that subscription into people that are above all of that monetarily. Right?
Correct.
So, in order to do that, we're calling for something that's like, you know,
impossible. That's basically, it's impossible. So you know better as well as I do that this utopian kind of vision that people have of kumbaya coming together is never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen because it's not designed to happen, because it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Our people get killed every day. Our people are, they got police officers planting drugs, locking people up for cigarettes, smoking, little dime bag of weed, for being outside at a certain time, for no reason, just to fill a service quota. But it's a little deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's more deeper than that. So by you dealing with a higher power, do you feel that maybe so that all these feelings of systematic oppression and racial oppression, you feel like they're kind of, in a way, hereditary?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are certain peoples that are inclined to be oppressive.
Okay.
I don't think there are people that are inclined to be oppressed. That is a view of victimization and self-blaming, right?
Right.
Which tends to happen in today's society, the idea of like victim blaming and playing the victim, right? So there are definitely a group of people that are inclined to oppress.
Okay.
For sure.
So, by you saying a lot of things that are true, and I'm very happy that you're being honest, because a lot of people of your nationality would not be as honest as you are, because they would think that everything is okay, that they like to say that we just think about this stuff in our mind, it's all in our mind. But everywhere we go, we got to deal with these things. So, I want to read you something out of a book. You say you don't believe in...
What is this book? I'm sorry.
This book is the Bible.
Just the straight up Bible. Is it King John's?
King James.
King James.
King James Bible. That was given, the authorization was given by King James, the first of Scots. He was a black man to interpret this Bible from the Hebrew into the Greek.
So it's a Hebrew, originally a Hebrew text.
Hebrew text.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
So surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. So this book, people like to think about this book as being a book of spookism. It's really not. When you really look at it, this is one of the most accurate historical texts that you'll find. This book deals with history, science. You go in the book of Genesis, it talks about the Adam belt, and it talks about all the different spheres. It talks about the earth and the moon and the stars, the solar system. It talks about these things. And in this book that I'm reading now, Ecclesiastes, and the book of Obadiah, it talks about that. It talks about science and genetics. It talks about mathematics. It talks about all these things. So this is a book we like to consider a book of life, because everything that we deal with, and whether it be science, math, or how to live your life culture, you can find in this book. The only thing is you gotta know how to read a book. You gotta know, just like you go to school, you have to know how to read certain things. Like when you research, people like to skim through books and scan through books. This is not a book for that. This is a book you gotta know inside and out to get the true understanding. And then you can match things up in history. When you can find out, when you read in the book of Daniel and Isaiah, you can find out about the Babylonian captivities. You can find out about people, Nebuchadnezzar and all these other people that are found in history. You can find these people in there. Alexander the Great, well, we call him Alexander the Greek because he wasn't really that great, because he slaughtered a lot of our people. So, it says, surely oppression makes a wise man mad. So do you agree that we have a right to be upset?
Yeah.
We have a right to be upset.
You have a right to be potentially physically violent as well, which is something that has been taken out of the vocabulary of the people,
right?
The regular people, is to be violent and to be in people's spaces,
right.
You know, allowed in the space.
Right, because this land was taken by what? Violence, by war. It was taken. So in order for us for things to change, the same thing is gonna have to happen one day or another. It talks about race wars happening and nations rising up. It says that you're going to be hated by all nations, and nations are going to come against you. And in Psalms, hold that. You can get that too, if you know what I'm talking about, Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows.
So we already in the beginnings of sorrow, because New York had an earthquake, earthquake shocks recently. They had a hurricane that really tore up more than what they thought it was. But if you look at it, that hurricane didn't really affect people of color. It affected people of, your origin more so. But it talks about all these natural disasters happening in places that we would never see. We see it snowing in places that, when we're dealing with equator lines and climate, that we would never fathom it to snow. We're seeing the heat, it being over 100 degrees in places we we would never fathom that kind of weather to happen. And also nation against nation. You have all these rumors of war. You see Korea coming against America, Russia coming against America, Ukraine coming against America, Iran. All these things are prophetic writings that are coming to pass right now. And there's no other book that can really tell you things that are real, true, and accurate more than this book. So I just want you to get a better understanding. It's not a book of religion. It's not a book of spookism, because that stuff, this was never taught. This was never written to be that. It's man who comes and takes these things and makes it that way. So when you get that broad understanding, that's why we read in the languages of Hebrew. And we read these languages so we really understand what is it trying to say. So that's how we get the understanding of this one. So we get it's Psalms chapter 83, and you can start from the 83rd verse, because it's talking about it's something that we have in Manhattan, and it's a bunch of different nationalities that come together and they conglomerate against us. If you know what that is, the United Nations, right? Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
So they've taken crafty counsel. They've consulted against our hidden ones. They go in their private organizations. They go and then they talk about ways of how they're going to rule over the world and how ways they can further kill our people. Like, you think that it's just, random, that all of our people, all these things are happening to our people. It's not random. They're talking about this. It's been happening for a long time. So I'm glad you were aware of that, and I'm glad you were able to admit that. Go ahead.
Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
So they said, let us cut them off from being a nation. So what do? They put guns in our neighborhood. Ronald Reagan put guns and drugs into our neighborhoods. They put Chinese restaurants where sellers cat, rat, and dog, and they don't even eat that stuff. They put Arab corner stores in it selling us pork and crack pipes. And then they want to sleep with our daughters because they can't afford to buy a $5 hero. So they build up the tab so much they can't even pay it, so they got to pay what they buy. Chinese man putting liquor stores in our community, having the liquor prices so low that even people on the street get a couple dollars, they get a nice little swill, and they messing up their temple, they defiling their temple, because the scripture saying, Isaiah says, woe to them that wake up in the early morning and drink strong drink all the way to the end of the night. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So they know who Israel is. Israel coming from the Hebrew word Yasha-Allah, which means the prince of the power. So Allah would be what they would call like El. Like when you got something like power. That's what that is. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
They're confederate. One consent, confederate. A lot of these nations don't even like each other like that, because they always deal with their people. But when it comes to us, they put all their differences aside and they come together and they do the things that they do. But ultimately, I'm glad that you witness and everything. But I just want to ask you something. So if you feel that we should take this, country by the way of violence, and we got a reason to be mad.
Sure.
What are you willing to do to help further that quest for black liberation?
Well, I'm doing all I can. I'm not doing all I can right now, but the best thing I can do is teaching the younger.
Teaching the younger?
Yeah, so I'm planning to be a teacher.
Okay.
Music.
Music?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Music, that's something else that can be found. The book of Psalms is nothing but music.
Yeah.
That's nothing but music.
And like life is music, but like
right.
I don't know. I could definitely be doing more, being involved with groups, political activist groups. You can call them that, but like really just being in a space where people are allowed to talk, be allowed to do these kind of things that are potentially faux pas and not allowed to be talked to within public. Like it's hard out here because a lot of people that want to want to act like they're for you, and then they'll put you in jail.
Right.
Or they'll take your word and flip it and do something else with it, and then it's on TV, it's on the news, it's on whatever. You know, I'm glad you guys are filming. I'm guessing this person is with you. This is for you, this film right here. So like, it's good that you guys can get the whole picture, you know, all that.
So I'm glad that you're very honest.
Yeah.
And willing to make the calls. But since you don't believe, but you respect what we're doing, right?
Yes.
You respect. Okay, so if I were to ask you something, would you be willing to do that for the cause and showing your respect and your appreciation for what we're doing out here to liberate our people and to make kind of like, how can I say, amends for all the things that is happening?
Amends.
A gesture.
Well,
gesture.
What would that thing be?
I'll let you find out. Give me Isaiah chapter 60, verse 14. See what the Most High says. Oh, I got you. So, Isaiah 60, verse 14.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee.
So it says the sons that also afflicted thee. So your people and all these other nations that afflicted our people, and to show their remorse to us, they got to come and do what?
Bending unto thee. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet.
So it says you got to bend down. And I'm not saying you per se despise us, but your people, you have the sins of your father. Because what? There's no statute of limitations on murder, correct?
Yes.
You live in an environment that somebody kills somebody in, you will get charged for that murder. So therefore, you have the crimes of your forefathers. You carry that with you on life, just like we do. We carry that with us. That's why we out here trying to reverse that. We're all trying to reverse that. So are you willing to bend down for tribute and remorse for your people and to show your amends, to try to further our cause?
Quite literally?
Yes, literally.
Literally? Bend down?
Literally. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You want me to get on the knee or something?
Yes.
You got it, man.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Then, the book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse 21. Chapter 49 and verse 23 of the book of Isaiah. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers.
Kings shall be thy nursing fathers.
And their queens thy nursing mothers.
Kings shall be thy nursing mothers.
They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet.
With their face toward the earth and lick up the dust of thy feet. So, are you willing to put your face toward the earth and lick up the dust of my brother's feet right there to show your remorse?
I am not.
You're not really about the cause.
Well, okay, so, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. What is this symbolic?
Yes, it is symbolic.
So the symbol...
You know what? It's symbolic. It's showing that you really do respect us and you really do respect what we're out here doing.
Yeah.
And try to reverse our culture, and that you're sorry for what your people did. Because what we're asking you to do is nothing compared to what our people went through.
Yeah.
Our babies getting fed to alligators. Our women getting raped. Our men getting raped.
Yeah.
We getting beaten and battered and put on shrines and burned up. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Emmett Till, oh, that's nothing. It's just something small. It's just a predecessor to what's gonna come. It's a little small token.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand, but what were you to say by fully understanding the responsibility of the white man? What would you say if by doing that I'm almost forgetting that in doing so, I'm also being oppressed by the white man. You understand what I'm saying? Like my whole life, I've been oppressed by people that are white as well.
I want you to explain, because in a system that was made for you, I want to know how you personally are not benefiting from that system. Because if you and me got the same kind of education, you would be able to get a job faster than I would. You are able to get a loan and benefits faster than I could. So it's kind of, you know, preposterous to me to see how somebody, you could say your people are oppressing you when your people as a conglomerate are oppressing other people. It kind of doesn't make sense to me. You understand? Get Isaiah 14:21. Because there's something that's coming. You know, I dealt with you on a certain level because I see that, you know, you might really have remorse. You might really do feel sorry. I can see that a little bit. And you bow down, you know, that's all praise to the Most High. You didn't want to lick the boot? That's fine. But what I'm going to show you right here is something that's going to happen regardless if you do that or not. Whether you do it or not, it's still going to happen. It's inevitable.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children.
So you got to prepare slaughter. We prepare slaughter for your children. You got to prepare too. We're preparing to battle up, get ready. We're going to chop some heads off. We're going to slay some babies. We're going to feed some babies to some animals. All that's going to happen. Y'all got to get ready too, because your people, this is your kingdom right now. Y'all in rulership right now. So y'all got to prepare. All this, you know, thinking everything is all right, and you know, you thinking that you're going to be at the top of the totem pole for so much longer, it's not going to happen. It's going to be only for so long. When you know in history, Roman Empire fell, Byzantine Empire fell, Ottoman Empire fell, Greece fell, Sparta fell. All these empires fell. So just like America, we would consider America modern day Rome, modern day Greece, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. All these places, because they take on the characteristics of these people. So just like all these empires, America's gonna fall too. The dollar is about to be nothing. You got cryptocurrency coming into effect now. The dollar is not meaning nothing anymore. That's all it's gonna be. Digital, card. That's all it's gonna be. So all these things is crumbling before our very eyes. So you gotta prepare slaughter. Go ahead.
For the iniquity of their fathers.
For the iniquity of your fathers. Just like we agreed on, there's no statute of limitations on murder. So the statute of limitations on the murder of our people will get avenged. Thus saith the Lord, they will be avenged when the time is right. Go ahead.
That they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
So you're not going to fill the face of the world with cities. Y'all building all these skyscrapers and Babylonian buildings like the Tower of Babel. The Lord is going to take that out, just like he took that out. Because you want to be, you thinking the white man, the so-called white man thinks he's equal to God. So in showing that he's making these buildings, he's trying to reach up to the heavens to show that he's on that level, that playing ground. But the Lord is going to take all that stuff down. The Twin Towers. You think the Lord is the one orchestrating that, that's allowing that stuff to happen. All these things is going to fall. So you got to prepare slaughter for your children for the iniquities of their fathers, your fathers. Go ahead.
For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
So he's saying everybody, from the child to everybody, grandparents, he don't care. He's not sparing because we didn't get spared. So everybody got to go until there's nobody else. Everybody, they're going to get put in chains. The ones that's not getting killed, they're going to get put in chains. And then we're going to take y'all for service and handmaidens. But we're going to deal with y'all righteously because y'all going to follow the Lord. Y'all not going to have us like how y'all have us worshiping a white Jesus and idol worship. We're going to deal righteously. That's how the Lord did. So whether or not you do what you do, you keep doing what you got to do. Maybe one of us up here might show you a little mercy when that time comes. We might show you a little mercy because you've been so genuine in how you feel and what's going on. So we might show you a little mercy, but what's going to happen is going to happen regardless. Regardless of what I do, regardless of you do. If I am not in this way of life tomorrow, not saying I'm not going to be, but if the Lord chooses that, then this is still going to happen. Without me or not. Me advocating and me not advocating, it's still going to happen. So you can't change, you can't stop the inevitable. So that's basically going to happen.